In our workshops, we work on improving blood flow in a whole new way by loosening the joints and learning how the blood flows better. We improve the function of the heart. We improve the function of the joints, of the nervous system. And of course, anybody who knows me knows that we improve our vision big time, to the point that we don't strain the eyes in front of the computer and we see better. So you're welcome to come to the 3-day workshop on Labor Day. Start with a whole other set of discussions, and then we will go into questions and answers, and then we will do some eye exercises. Okay, so yeah, so first of all, I want to tell everyone that my good friend Susan have interviewed me, recorded it on Voice of America. So if Susan Dunn can send you a link to our conversation, that will be good. And she talked about something very important with me. I really was happy that she asked me that question about balance. And I just want to ask you, does everybody hear me well? So it's a major issue when we talk about balance, when we talk about aging. So many people, especially some of my favorite people. I know a very nice lady at the age of 92 by the name of Edna, who fell on her face, just fell, you know. And then she actually got out of it pretty good. And so many people have osteoporosis, and when they fall, that fall costs them much more than one can imagine. So sometimes death during medical treatment, I would say, you know, if they try to repair a hip joint. So not falling becomes a very important thing for us. So I want to talk about a few important things. Number one, the important thing in our life is to always challenge ourselves to some extent, to be outside of the comfort zone. All right, so what I want to say is this. We have to always find a way to create more balance. I want to show you a few exercises that some of them are going to be easy for you to do. Okay. But some are going to be much harder, okay? So for example, you have to go back. One easy, yeah, good. That now that I know where I'm on the screen, I can know where to be. Okay, so one exercise which everybody can do is hold into something and lift your leg up. And Jean, can you give us right now 60 seconds? Okay. Can you, for 60 seconds, stand up just on one leg? And I'm not asking you to fall down. You can hold into something so you don't fall down. You can even move the leg backwards and forwards and from side to side, but just don't put it down on the floor. That's an important thing, that you stand on one leg. And that already is a very good exercise that can prevent you at the age of 80 or 90 from falling, because you're starting to be aware of your leg. You start to try to relax and put more of the pressure on your foot than anywhere else. And breathe deeply and slowly again. Every case that I worked with, and in the last 52 years, I worked on quite a few cases, is a history. Something happened to the person. Okay, a minute is over? Yeah. Okay, put the leg down and see if you feel a difference between the two legs. The one you stood on and the one that you didn't. And see if the one you stood on is a little bit more more connected to the floor. So stand on the other leg. Stand on the other leg. Again, Jean is going to give us a minute. Do we have some? Yeah, John is going to give us a minute.
Mhm.
And again, you can move your foot in rotating motion. You can lift the leg up. You can bring it backwards. You can bring it sideways. Just stand on one leg. And it is so important. Those who don't have to hold into something, don't. Those who do have to hold into something, do. But stand on one leg. And breathe deeply and slowly. And again, I'm getting you out of your comfort zone, but it's not a difficult exercise. Allow yourself to just do that.
Okay.
Great. Now to continue, we'll do a couple of exercises here. I see I have to go a little bit more back. As you know, I'm not in my school right now. I'm in vacation. I'm visiting my partner, Jean, that lives in Quebec. Okay, good, thank you. Okay, and so I want to show you this. I'm lifting, is that, see?
Go back a little bit more.
We'll go back a little bit more.
Okay, now we will
Okay.
see your foot.
I'm lifting my toes up, but I'm keeping my heel on the ground. My heels are on the ground. John, it's also good for you. And let's count about 100 of those. So 100 per foot, right? So now it's 10. I even will take my shoes off so you will see exactly how my feet are faring, right? Everybody sees my feet, John?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, this is the hard thing for the feet normally, 20. But many times when I work 30, when I work with people with multiple sclerosis or other problems that cause imbalance, often I strengthen the calf and the shin muscles, or the muscles in the back of the calf or in the front of the calf, in the side of the calf. And when I strengthen that, they gain some balance, even though the vestibular area was still not working well. And that took a year or two, but it took less than a month to build up more stability. So we're working on that. 60. And don't forget to breathe. It still is legal. 70. $90. 100. And I know that I did something terrible. I got you to have some soreness in the front of the leg. So it's easy to undo it. All you have to do is, I'm going to show you, sorry to show my behind, but I'm showing you are hitting the heel on the floor. That's the opposing muscles, the muscles of the calf. We worked on the muscles of the shin, the lift the heels. And that's easy because most people develop those muscles at the expense of the muscles in front. We no longer climb mountains. We no longer walk bare feet. And that's a very, very important thing for us to know, that we really need to start and use muscles we never ever used in our lives. And I'll do something else, which is going to be a bit painful. And this is lift your leg sideways. They can see that, right, John? Yes. Can you give me a bunga ball? You can also hit your leg when you do that.
me that here and stand here.
And stand
We will
here,
see
okay.
more.
I'll start again. So bring it up. And
Like that.
do we have a bunga ball?
Yes.
I love bunga balls. I really love them because I can hit myself pretty good. It's a good massage. I like it in between my shoulders, but I lift it up. Give us another minute, please. I know it is a torture, but you're using muscles you normally don't use. And if you don't want to lose your balance in an older age, you've got to start and build up those muscles. They're yours. And without building them up, expect back pains, arthritis, Lord knows what. You got to build them up, and you must work on never losing your balance. And you can hit yourself with your fist to massage your butt, to massage the side of the butt especially, to massage the side of the thigh, the front of the thigh, wherever you want. But if you get a bunga ball, it's better because it has
1
more
minute.
reach. Okay, good. Now stand up and feel the difference between the two legs. And you can feel the leg that you lifted the leg up is more on the floor. That's more balance, right? And then we do the same thing here. I was very happy that when I spoke with Susan in Voice of America, she asked me genuinely that question. Such an important question. The history of so many people is that they fell and then it was hard to repair. And I want you to not fall, and I want this to be easy for you, to not fall. I mean, of course, there could be an obstacle anywhere, but to be solid on your feet. Of course, pay attention to your environment, which is another thing altogether. But they go together. You're going to give us a minute from now, John?
Yeah.
So this one is like a minute and a half, but it's worth it. Those muscles do need our attention, and they're weak with most people. To lift the leg up sideways. Love to tap on my chest. That really helps my immune system. I love to tap between my shoulders, on the shoulders, and of course, on the leg, to bring more circulation. Perfect. So we stand on the two legs. So the issue of balance, of course, is vestibular. You have to work on an area near the ears. And it's so interesting that many people lose their balance in hearing in similar times. And I want to do just one exercise for hearing. It's not exactly connected to balance, but it still is worth doing. And I will move from here to circulation. When I will move away from circulation, we're going to talk a bit about vision, just a little bit. And then I'm going to open the floor for questions and answers. And then after that, we'll finish with some key vision exercises. And I have to mention to all of you that I really am happy that you came to this meeting. So rub your hands, everybody. And listen to anything you can hear. For example, I hear the rain here in Quebec. I know that now in California, there is no rain, but there are many other people from other parts of the world which are here. In Quebec City, there's definitely beautiful rain. Jean and I had a wonderful walk in the rain. We got all wet. I tell you the truth, I tell you something that will make you all laugh. I mean, I was covered with many clothes, but how I like to be in the rain, and I'm doing it, you don't have to admit to anyone that you know me, I'm doing it in San Francisco on the beach. I run with a bathing suit, I bury my flip-flops on the ground, I run with a bathing suit. I used to run for years in the rain. My neighbor said that I was crazy and I was an inspiration. These days, reaching my late 60s, I'm not doing it in the rain anymore. But I used to, until like 4 or 5 years ago, for like 40 years, to run in the rain in San Francisco and then bathe in the ocean, which is not very warm, basically. And I was the one only who bathed in that ocean. So again, today, getting out of my comfort zone was a bit different. I had a partner, so we walked together, Jean and I, covered with our coats, with umbrellas, and still it was an adventure because the rain was massive. So rub your fingers and listen to any kind of static noise that you have, air conditioner, rain, anything. Then what I'll ask you to do is to put your thumbs deeply in your ear, in the hole here, as deeply as you can, and listen to your breath. It sounds like ocean waves or it sounds like wind. Let's count 10 slow, deep breaths that we all listen to. And then we take our thumbs out and we'll talk. So again, rub your fingers, thumbs in the ears, listen. It sounds like waves. It sounds like wind. And take your thumbs out and see how it sounds. My noise is much bigger. How's yours, John?
Very good.
Okay. So basically, hearing can be improved in most cases. And I've had some very good cases. But it's very similar to the work we're doing with the eyes of deep relaxation. When you put the thumbs in the ears, few things are happening. Those of you who have tinnitus, they hear it a bit louder. Those of you who don't have tinnitus hear like somebody's knocking in your ear. But if you focus on your breathing and you listen deeply in your breathing, then it's so much easier to hear what's outside of you. So that's very important. So we talked about balance, and when we work on the vestibular center, I like very much to work around the ears to help the vestibular center. But that is something else. There's something I want to tell you. There is a concept in medicine that if you lose any function of the brain, you can never get it back. I've disputed that, and I've seen that in many cases. For example, a lack of balance, which is a vestibular issue, which is in the temporal lobe near the hearing area, that actually can be regained. It starts with neck release, I must say. And many, many problems that we have start with neck release. And so I'm going to move exactly to the neck release. And I will not stop you from asking me questions in a few minutes. So move your head in rotating motion in both directions. In rotating motion in both directions. Feel the head when you bring it all the way to your shoulder. Feel the head when you bring it to your shoulder. Feel the head when you bring it forwards. Feel the head when you bring it backwards. And again, move your head in rotating motion. in both directions. Now massage your scalp. Separate the scalp from the skull. So it's like you separate. You can also pull the hair gently and massage the scalp. Pulling the hair gently is really good. You know, many people in many cultures, when they mourn on something, they pull their hair, but not very hard, and it really relaxes them. So massaging this area is very good. Separating scalp from scalp. Now tell me, do you feel how lighter it is right now to move your head? Because there's more circulation, right? We'll do another thing, which I love to do. Let me see, how far can I go?
You want to see your legs? Or just-
No,
No, it's
right
perfect,
here.
yes.
Okay, so move your head in rotating motion again in both directions. Tap on the belly and say center. I want to hear it from all of you. Unmute yourself and say center, center. Everybody, I want to hear from everybody.
Center. Center.
I'm hearing nothing. Center. Center. Finally, I'm hearing something. Come on, everybody. Center.
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 Center. Center.
Center.
Something funny.
Center.
Funny. Move your head again and see how light it became. Just from focusing on our center that connects between you and the center of the earth. You were born with your umbilical cord. That is your center. So now comes the next thing. Tap your legs against the floor. Tap your legs against the floor and say center thigh. Center thigh. Legs against the floor. Through the neck.
Center thigh. Center thigh.
Tap, tap, tap. Come on, center thigh, everybody. Center
Center
thigh.
thigh.
Center thigh. Center thigh. Center thigh. Center thigh. Stand. Stand, everybody. Again, center thigh, center thigh, center thigh, center thigh, everybody, center thigh. I don't hear anybody. Center thigh,
Center thigh. Center thigh. Center thigh. Center thigh.
thigh.
Center thigh. Center thigh. Center thigh.
Let me see. All right, now you can mute yourself again. How does it feel to move the head in rotating motion now? Well, there are many other neck releasing exercises, of course. This is just a small model. But I want to move from here. So let me remind you again. We talked about balance and we moved the leg sideways. We moved the leg. We stood on one leg. By the way, standing on one leg, that's something you should do 4 times a day for 30 seconds to a minute. Lifting the leg sideways, again, the same thing. Lifting the leg backwards, something we did not do today. We also need to do to support our posture. Because in most gyms, you really have to comply with the machines. You're your machine. Be as good as you could be to yourself. You don't need any instrument to really exercise. And I want to move to another thing which is so important. So I want to talk about the fact that 1 out of every 8 people in the world, 1 billion people, hear this, 1 billion people have a problem with their blood pressure. And basically, nearly half of us die from cardiovascular disease. That's not an easy thing or simple thing. Add to it the fact that most blinding conditions for vision have to do with poor blood flow to the visual system. Glaucoma, poor blood flow to the optic nerve. Also poor blood flow to the eyes that may increase the pressure of the eyes, which again destroys the optic nerve. Neovascularization, diabetic neovascularization, macular degeneration, all those connect to poor blood flow. And I worked with many diabetics in my life, and I've reversed many of their conditions. And the thing to do is, first of all, to help production of our blood. So the work that I want to show you is this. We tap on ourselves. This time I'm not using the ball, I'm using my fingers. But when a client comes to me with a major diabetic problem, and you know, in diabetes, you have 2 problems. You have poor insulin production. And the purpose of insulin is to bring the sugar into the cells. And once the glucose is in the cells, it meets with oxygen that produce our energy molecule, which is called ATP, without which we cannot survive, right? But the second problem of diabetes is poor blood flow. And that's what kills us. That's what causes people with diabetes to lose their limbs, to lose their kidneys, to lose their eyes. So the first thing to do is tap on the bones. Why? Because the bones are the ones, I probably have to go more back, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm not in my regular setting for this kind of discussion, but I'm in my head, so there's no problem. So the bones is what produces the blood cells, the red blood cells and the white blood cells. So you want to tap on every part of your bone. So for example, you can lift your leg up and tap with your fist on your thigh. You can tap like this on your shin. You can tap on your feet, right? You can do the same thing here. You can put your thigh up and tap and tap and tap. And you know, if somebody has diabetes, they come to me for like 20 sessions of tapotments. And the result is the sugar level drops down and many of the symptoms go away, of course, with other supportive exercises. But now I want to show you something else. High blood pressure. The important thing for high blood pressure is to move. I don't have the exact setting here to play some wonderful rhythmical music, but at my school I do, unless you want to find a good one. But anyway, I lift the legs one by one and opposite arm. And I've done it in the previous meeting, but I'm going to do this one shorter. So I lift the legs up and I can even move. And I'm sorry if you don't see my whole body this way, but I even move in rotation. When I do it, you know, I move and I really stomp on the floor and lift my arm up and really, really move. So you can do it. No, we don't have to do it, Jean. Okay. We can do it with real wild music and never less than 5 minutes at a time. We build up a sweat, moving the arms. And when you move the arm, you open it when you lift it up, you close it to the fist when you move it down, and opposite leg. That reduces blood pressure. We've shown it in some of my classes that it reduces the systole by about 25 points and the diastole by 5 points. And that means it really can move you away. I can tell you that statin is one of the biggest mistakes that sooner or later medicine will find it did. But at this point, there is no magic solution except focusing on your diet, of course. And I'm not a dietitian, but you probably all know about the major things you should do in your diet to reduce your blood pressure. But at the same time, focusing on your movement. And nobody is allowed to walk less than half an hour a day. You can walk forwards, backwards, sideways, but we should do that. Otherwise, it's a disaster. Most people don't know that their blood pressure is high until they get a heart attack or a stroke. And most people don't know that the blood pressure is low until they faint. By the way, for those who have low blood pressure, I'm not so popular in suggesting that, but stand under cold shower 2 or 3 times a day, and that can make a big difference. Okay, so far I talked about the body. Many of you heard about my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. I also have a retreat upcoming at the School for Self-Healing. It's worth traveling for 3 days from 9 to 5 every day. And we use the beach a lot. That's why we call it a retreat. But we're a very nice place with trampoline, with all kinds of nice facilities. And what's important for me is that you understand that the retreat or my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, guides you through working on yourself. And those who work with the book work chapter by chapter.
And the retreat is the day.
What? Jean asked me to say the dates of the retreat. It's the 2nd through the 4th of September, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September, which is Labor Day, which is a good time for many people to come and take a good vacation in San Francisco. But many San Franciscans come to that as well. But some people travel the world just to do that. All right. Let me right now move to another topic altogether, and that is senses. The senses and body movement work together. There used to be a concept. When I studied pathology, I had to answer that every day some brain cells die and they cannot be replaced. Brain cells do die, but they can be replaced. And there are wonderful, wonderful chemicals that help us to do that. Just like your muscles can become bigger, so can your synapses, the connection between nerve cells. They can become bigger. There's a factor which is called BDNF. You can remember that one. It's basically a protein that helps to make the connection between the brains, between the cells, bigger. So don't tell me that somebody at the age of 70 cannot study new language. You can. Don't tell me that you cannot start new activity. You can. And you have to. You have the choice between doing that or becoming senile. So it's very, very important for us to understand that we can build the brain. We just have to find a way to do it. I'm going to give you an exercise that's going to make you hate me completely, just so you know that. But I'll give it to you anyway, so you'll understand where else you need to go. So, John, help me know when everybody can see me when I move the chair.
You need the chair?
I do need the chair for this exercise.
Okay.
Is that okay? If I sit, do you see my feet?
Oh, the feet. Let me just move that.
Okay. Well, we'll do what we can. You have that. Okay, perfect. Okay,
I won't see the sheet.
they will.
No, I have to move the camera instead.
So move the camera a bit.
I will keep it in my hand.
Okay. Move the camera and they'll see the feet. As you see, it's not my normal setting. It's a regular home setting. I normally am doing it for my school, which is very different. Okay, there we go. Yeah, but okay. Now they see my feet, but I want to see the whole body
We
and
can
the feet. So should I
here,
go back?
that way?
Okay, good. Now look, move your feet in rotating motion, point to my feet.
Yeah.
Both directions. It's no problem, just move them in rotating motion. Up, sideways, down, up, sideways, down. That's no problem, right? Now, move your head. Kind of hard was this one.
Wait a
Okay.
second, I will go there.
No, don't. Move your head.
They won't see the feet in the head. Okay, so you have to go back again.
There are stairs here too, by the way.
I know. I will put.
Okay, Jean, I want to show it.
Yeah.
Okay. So move your feet in rotating motion, both direction. Now move your head in rotating motion in both directions. Can you just take the camera, Jean? I want to finish the exercise. Move the head in rotating motion in both directions. Don't worry about it, Jean.
It is in your face.
So it is.
Okay.
Now, move the feet in one direction and the head in the opposite direction. That's why I said you're going to hate it.
Ooh.
Because this should be really simple. I mean, nothing intellectually challenging, is it? But the
It's
head to
on.
the right and the feet to the left, the head to the left and the feet to the right. And we can all see how much we have not developed our nervous system. Because this coordination,
On.
you can separate those things. Head to the left, feet to the right, feet to the right. So now you can stop doing it. Just up on your belly and move your head in rotating motion. And we finish this exercise.
Not easy.
But I just wanted to show you, it's your body. It's your body, and it was hard for you to separate between your feet and your head. And that shows you how little we have control of our body. So let's talk a little bit about vision. I hope you enjoyed it so far. You know, again, not the best setting, but at least you got my heart here. So what I wanted to tell you is this. The most important part of the visual system is the central part of your vision. That area in the retina that looks central is called macula, M-A-C-U-L-A. It's or yellow spot, they call it basically in Latin. Although it's not yellow in live people, it's yellow in cadavers. That's why we call it yellow spot. And in live people, it's kind of brownish. So the macula sees very small areas. But before I'm using the macula, I have to have very extended periphery. Because basically, if you think about human being in the last 2 million years, the question of each human was, how am I feeling? Do I have indigestion? Do I have desires unfulfilled? Do I have pain? That all affects your vision. But then the next question is, where am I? Now, it's easy for people to know where they are. In fact, I feel that in this setting, I'm kind of doing better because Jean has amazing backyard. And in fact, all the neighbors here in Quebec have really developed beautifully their backyard. So it's nice to see that there's all kinds of new things to see in those backyards. But the question is, where am I? Most people don't ask that question. They're sitting in the room in front of the same book, in front of the same computer, in front of the same letters. And that does something very bad to us, because then we don't complete the visual work and we ignore our periphery. Where am I is a very big question. And in the jungle, even if you're at your normal place, you always ask questions. Are there animals from the side which are coming? Am I really in the right place, etc.? So the question is, where am I? The second question is, what is it I'm looking at? And where is it I'm looking at? Now we don't ask those questions. You know where the letters are? You know where they are. And some people picture whole paragraphs, which means they basically do not activate the macula as much as they could. And that's why we're going to do the exercise of periphery. And I want to ask you if it was sent to you that we have 4 pages, different sizes, or did he send you just 2 pages, different sizes?
You don't send them, you just write a link.
I know. Did they send you a link for those 4 pages?
to-
4.
No.
Okay. Get yourself 4 pages. The whole difference in color is just difference in size. So 1 is the smallest, 1 is medium, 1 is large, and 1 is extra large. And Jean can demonstrate to you as well, but I will demonstrate as well. You can take masking tape, sticky tape, whichever tape you can take, and the first thing that you're going to do is make it round so you can stick it to the paper and stick the paper between your eyes like this. See me? Just like that. And now we do the second page. Jean, I want you to do it again so people will see it from both of us, yeah? So, you know what I'm saying, Jean?
Yeah.
Demonstrate it again. So I'm doing this second page and I'll put it between my eyes. Okay, and then Sean, can you tell them which size they all are? I'm not good with inches.
It is 1 inch.
Come closer so
No,
they can hear you.
Okay. Normally it is 1.5 inches by 2. And each time you gain one of them. So it is all the time 1.5 inches by 4 by 6 by 8. It will be perfect.
So 1.5 inches by 2 inches, 1.5 inches by
Or you can take
how
large-
much? By 4 inches?
1.5, it could be 3. The important thing is to increase the size.
Okay, again. Tell me again what you said. 1.5 inches by 2, and
Yeah.
then the second size. 1.5
By
inches
4,
by 4,
by 6,
1.5 inches by 6,
by 8.
1.5 inches by 8. So now you have 4 pieces of paper. Okay, I'll wait for a moment so you will all do it. And now it's a good time for me to answer a question. And then in a minute, we'll go to the exercise. Anybody wants to ask an essential question?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
This is Heather. When we're doing the balance exercises, how important is it to hold a proper body foundation and pull in our stomach and like core? Like, is it important to engage the core?
The only thing you do is breathe. Because, you know, many people, when they think engage the core, they tighten the abdomen. I don't need you to do that. I need to relax and just stand on one leg.
Peter wants to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have a question about, I have normal tension glaucoma with eyesight loss left. And I have there a plastic lens implanted from -2.5. And now my vision is blurring all the time because of the central loss. And he advised to do fogging. So instead of the -2.5, I now have -1 in my glasses for 7 weeks, and it's really hard to cope with. And he hopes with that my left eye just shuts down or just doesn't work. What do you think of that?
Let me ask you a question. The right eye is the one that you lost vision in?
The left eye.
The left eye. How is the right eye doing?
It's on the sides. It is also a little bit lost with vision, but not central. And the left eye is central.
So some part of it do not see, right?
Yes, yes.
Can you get me a blinking light? Do we have any?
Try to find it.
Okay. One thing that we do is we cover every area that sees, and we have blinking light that we put in the dark to start and stimulate the areas which are not seeing. Because
Okay.
my theory is that some of the nerve is dead, but some of it is alive but asleep. So
Okay.
what happens is, let's say that you have nerve A, nerve C, but the B between them is dead. So they don't communicate with each other, but with enough stimulation, they can grow axons and start to communicate.
You think so? Oh, yeah.
I think so, and I've seen some proof of it.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, first of all, we should stimulate the dead areas. Yeah, this is, for example, an example of light in different colors. I don't know, do we see the colors here, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah, different colors. That
Yes.
we put in the dark, like we patch everything that sees and we work on what doesn't, okay?
Yes.
Second thing is, I really found that palming and sunning are great exercises for you. And specifically in what you need to do with the lens, I really need to see you and work with you to know.
Yes.
All right, let's move to the periphery. All of you, wave your hands to the side. And whenever you type, wave one hand to the side while typing with the other hand. Or type and sometimes wave your hand. Because often when we sit, remember when I gave you this little lecture about Where am I? Where is it? What is it? And that's when we start to really focus with our macula. What happens is we're not paying attention to things so easily. We're not paying attention to the wall. We're not paying attention to the floor. And then we don't look enough at the areas we're looking at. For example, I don't like the idea of speed reading because they're trying to take impression of a whole page. I want you to read things letter by letter. So now we'll do the following exercise. Put the small paper between your eyes. By now, you probably had the time to put all the sticky tapes in the middle, I assume, right? So wave your hands to the side. And you look straight at the paper. So move away from the screen, like I did, and wave your hand to the side. You can even stand up and walk in the room a little bit as you do that, and wave your hands to the side while doing it. And breathe deeply and slowly. Slowly and deeply. Now, let's take the small off. We'll take the middle one on. Wave your hands to the side, below and above, and you can even move your whole body up and down. And that's the second size. We only have the colors just so people won't be confused about the size. But obviously the size is, the first is 1.5 by 2, the second one is 1.5 by 4. So we wave, and then we take the third piece of paper and we wave here. And we look straight. We don't look at the hands, we look straight. So we really expand our periphery, expand our periphery. Yeah, you can erase this again. Expand our periphery.
Cancel that. They don't see it.
Yeah, yes, we see.
Yes.
Oh, no, something else. They will
Okay.
pop up.
Now, let's put the very big one on. That's big, right? Now rub your hands. Put your hands very gently around the eye orbits.
He doesn't want you to look. He just wants you to go like this.
Right.
But not look to the left or the right. So that you see the
You
end.
didn't have to turn it down.
I didn't.
Okay, so we put the hands around the eye orbits.
Okay, good luck.
All right.
Be careful.
know you. I know what you want. I know.
I'm going to show your mommy what you did, what you do. I'm going to tell her
Mute
that I
yourself,
trust her.
please. Mute yourself, please.
Wave your hands to the side. Move the whole body up and down. Then put the large one on. So we did the extra large, now we're doing the large. And then we can do the medium. And we wave the hands. And again, you look at the paper, not at your hands, but you see the hands. That's the difference in central and periphery. The periphery sees, the center looks. And now we put the small one on. And my question to you is, does the small one look smaller? Yes, no?
Yes.
Now take it off.
Yes. It
Okay.
does.
I will finish later on with the exercise of palming, as I normally do. But until then, I want to answer all your questions. Right.
How many times a day should we do this with the papers?
At least twice a day.
Okay. For how long?
For how long?
About 2-3 minutes.
Okay,
We did it now for 2
right.
minutes. Tested, right?
But the left eye is weak on this.
Then
don't know
what you do is, as you wave your hand, sometimes you close the right eye and you see the movement, then you open both eyes. Next question.
I'm so glad to see you. I wanted to ask, when you palm, Are you supposed to keep your eyes shut or open?
Best is shut.
Okay, best is shut. And then the other question is, you said to go ahead with cataract surgery. I have to phone you and try and get some Zoom classes with you, but I don't know how to. But apparently the doctor, now I've finally gone to see someone anyway, they said if I have the cataract surgery done, the risk has gone up from 1 to 10% of retinal damage. And so I don't want to have it. I'm scared to have it, but I can still see peripherally with my right eye, but I can't see otherwise except shadow and light.
Is that the best doctor in town?
What did you say?
Is that the best doctor in town?
Almost. There's one above him who is doing laser surgery, which is the newest thing. And it took me 2 years to get to this doctor because these in Canada, the ophthalmologists, they like their territory and they don't want other people to see you.
Right. Well,
Not easy.
what can reduce your risk is, for example, as I've shown, the light that blinks, you can patch the eye that sees better and have a light blinking in the dark in the front vision. You can also cover your periphery and have a light blinking. If I would work with you individually, I would get you to try and see a bit better. But I am for the surgery, and the risk is there, but not seeing is no option. Not seeing is no option. You will have so much better life if your vision will become 20/20 or 20/40 than not seeing it. So do one eye and see how it works.
But what about the fact that you said with your daughter she didn't have to get a petrochemical lens in, and I don't really want that lens in.
But no, but that's it. No, I don't want you to put the lens, but unfortunately, the doctors have to do it because that's what their books tell them to do. I think if they didn't put the lens, it would be so much better. We would meet and I would get you to have eagle eyes with my work, but they don't know anything about it. And their textbook says you got to do it. Now, in terms of my daughter, don't forget that she did the cataract surgeries when she was 2 weeks of age. So the eye could not, I mean, the eye was not the final size of it, right? And you're older. I assume that you're older than 2 weeks of age, right?
Yeah. So, but what about the fact that then you get your cataract done and then you're connected with the medical system every year? You have to go and then they laser your eyes when scar tissue grows, and
that does happen. That does happen. But you know, that's a minuscule thing comparing to not seeing. I want you to see. What was
I just wanted to add, my husband in Canada, now he's dead since 2005, but they didn't put an implant, and it was in Canada, in Quebec. I don't.
We didn't put a lens in.
What?
What did you say?
They did not put a lens in.
No.
Oh, where was that?
In Quebec.
Wow.
But he had diabetes, so it was not a good idea either. But normally, almost each doctor would put it, and in this case, he didn't.
Well, you can always ask. They probably will refuse. They will laugh at you. But I would personally prefer they didn't. But there is no choice. But I want you to see. And when you finish with the surgery, you know, 6 or 8 weeks afterwards, be asked to meet me and work with me.
Okay. But what about, thank you. I would love to. I wonder though why like with cataract surgery though, what if you don't have what you need to heal? Like if you get a retinal detachment, you have to lie on your stomach. A friend of mine did, and I don't have the
No, I understand that point, but you still have 90% chance that it won't happen. All right, let's go to the next question.
Mayor, I have a question of the dominant eye versus a strong eye. So like I did the test, with the finger, and by the test, my left eye is the dominant eye, but it's actually my weaker eye. So which one I should cover, or should I cover both?
Here's my question.
Mhm.
Here's my question. The
Sure.
weaker eye, is it stronger from near or not?
It's very hard to say. I think it probably from the distance.
Okay, you told me that your stronger eye is your right eye, but your weaker eye is the left eye, and it's dominant.
So,
right?
right. So the right eye is stronger to begin with. But when I did the test, like which one is dominant?
I know what you're saying. I heard you very well.
Uh-huh.
What happened? Do you have my book?
Yes.
Look at
I
the
know. I know what happened. I know why. But now I'm trying to I'm following all the directions, but I'm a little confused. Which one should I cover?
But hold on. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to ask you, I'm asking you a question. Okay.
Sure.
It's page 100, the large and small print.
Yes.
100, 102. Can you look at my page at my book at page 100?
The book is downstairs. Sorry, I had it downstairs. Yes, 100.
Do you see this? Page, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So take a look at number 8. Can you see number 8? Seven or 8? Can you see those small print? Or can you see
7,
five?
I a little bit.
Okay, look at 7. Beautiful. Look at 7. Read a word or two for me. I know if you can see it.
Not really.
Look at 6. Can you read a word or two? Yeah.
Yes, maybe. You may feel.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, cover your left eye. Can you still see it?
Yes, but much harder to read.
Cover the right eye. Can you still see it?
Oh, it's much worse.
So the left eye sees much worse.
Yeah.
Then I would, in all cases, cover the right eye.
Okay.
Thanks. All right.
Thank
Next question.
Yeah, hello, Meir. Yeah, I have a question about sunning. Is there any benefit to do it through a window? Like if you don't, I know it's better to go outside, but
If you open the window.
okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to do it through glass. Okay, next question.
Hi there, Meir. Thank you so much for your time. I read your book and you mentioned you did what is it called, long swing for 40 minutes, and I'm wondering if I should do long swing and palming at the same time. I have myopia.
I mean, do palming when you do long swing?
No, I mean, should I do those 2 exercises?
Well, I would not do it for 40 minutes if I were you. I would do it 2 or 3 minutes at a time. But yes, I would do long palming. And remember, when you do palming, that you touch the eye orbits very, very gently, right? That's,
yeah, but what should I think about it? Will I palm, and how long should I do it for?
listen to nice music. Listen, think about anything but your thoughts. So listen to your favorite podcast, a book on tape. But the first thing you think is about breathing.
Okay.
Then the next thing that you think is about, so your breathing is that you inhale slowly and exhale even slower, okay? So the breathing is slow, in and out through the nose, and you feel like the whole upper body expands when you inhale and shrinks when you exhale as you palm, okay? That's very important. Sunning is important for you. Distance viewing is important for you. Follow my book. Where are you from? What country are you from?
Well, I currently live in Illinois, America.
In Illinois. Okay.
Yeah.
I would still recommend that you will come. We'll have several classes. One is this Labor Day for 3 days. In February, we haven't announced it yet, but we'll have a 6-day natural vision improvement class.
Oh, yay.
And that will be a good time to come and to learn. And the first 2 days is on myopia, basically, and myopia and presbyopia. So yeah, you can take the 6 days class. You're going to love it. And we can also meet several sessions individually and work together. So that's the best thing we can do in that sense. But don't start then. Do now lots of palming, lots of sunning, now that there is summer. Although today in Quebec, there is no sun. Yesterday there was, I think. So those are very important exercises. And follow my videos. The best one I can recommend is Overcoming Nearsightedness, Farsightedness, and Astigmatism. You can download it from my internet. You can also get my book and its companion, Vision for Life, and work with them. Okay.
Thank you so much. That's great information. I'll look into all of them. Thank you again for your time.
My pleasure.
Next. Hi, Meir, I have 2 short questions. One, why do the papers need to be black? And the other is, what is sunning?
Okay, first of all, not all the papers are black, but black is better because they cover more, right? In terms of sunning, I would really love to really show it in real time rather than just discuss it. But basically, let's say I'm looking straight at the sun. So my eyes are closed. So I'm not really looking, I'm facing the sun. The eyes are closed. And then I move my head all the way to the side, from side to side. And what happens is, as I move to the right, I move a little bit my shoulder forwards, then move it back. As I move to the left, I move a little bit my shoulder forwards, and then move it back. And I move it from side to side like this. As I'm saying, I'm actually uncomfortable talking about it because, if you don't do it right, it can be actually a harmful exercise. If you do it right, it's very helpful. And right is ear to shoulder, not ever cheek to shoulder. You never do it like this. Yeah, you do it as if you say no. And then there are more developments to that exercise. Like we move up and down as we move from side to side. And the idea is that when you face the sun, the pupils constrict, and when you move away, they expand. So it's like, muscle pumping in the eye, and it really strengthens the eye big time. So I think sunning is one of the best exercises that ever existed. I just don't know how people live without it.
Does it matter whether it is morning sun or afternoon sun?
So I assume that morning sun you can do longer and afternoon sun a bit shorter. So I would say this, the minimum of sunning you should do is 3 minutes. And I would do something like 3 to 5 minutes in the midday and 2 o'clock and so whatever. In the morning, I would do 10 minutes. I would never go through a day without 20 or 25 minutes of sunning, but in intervals, right? I can do sunning even half an hour, but in a good sun. But I would say any time is a good time. That definitely contradicts the outlook of most people, especially dermatologists and also ophthalmologists. But I think I'm completely correct. I'm very sold to that exercise. I'm doing it from the age of 16 3/4. I'm today 68 3/4. So I'm doing it all this time and I love it.
Thank you.
Hello, Meir.
Hi.
Thank you for everything. I'm up for cataract surgery and they're going to use laser. How do you feel about laser surgery on cataracts?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm pretty neutral about that. It depends how the surgeon feels. Basically what's cataract surgery? They remove your lens and then they try to put an implant instead of your lens. So some people think that the laser treatment is better. I myself don't know. It depends what the surgeon is good at and comfortable with. And so do you trust your surgeon is my first question.
I don't know that much about her. It's the first time I've met her. She did all of her work on cataracts in college.
So it's possible that she knows exactly what she's doing, So the big thing is that you would have a good feel for your surgeons. Normally, I would do shopping. You do shopping for cars. The first thing I would do is shopping for surgeons and decide who's the one I want, if that's a possibility. But if you feel that Once you decide to do it, just be comfortable with it. 8 weeks later, start to do eye exercises to enhance and to rehabilitate the eye after surgery. One of the things that happens is you have to understand, just like what the nice caller before was very concerned, because 6% of the people who do cataract surgery get blind from it rather quickly. 96% are doing very well. They see very, very well. But then what happens is, within 5 years, quite a few of them have double vision and all kinds of disturbances. That's why after doing the cataract surgery, you should really be adamant about doing eye exercises. Again, wait for about 8 weeks beyond what they think needs to be done for the eyes to heal. And then let's work together. Okay?
Very good. Thank you, Meir.
I wish you the best.
Yes, and thank you for giving us this gift of education. I have macular degeneration, and one eye has gone really, really bad. It's really a blank diagonal. I don't see anything through that. The other one is, that's the right eye. The left eye is deteriorating now.
Let me ask you a question. The one that went blank, is it blank centrally or all over?
Yes, yes, blank centrally, yes. It has a diagonal through and there is nothing there.
So let me tell you what I would do if I were you.
Yes.
I would get somebody who knows me, and I would patch the eye that sees well, make a patch.
What? Patch, okay.
Patch
Yes.
the eye that sees well, take a paper over the eye that became blind from the macular degeneration.
The paper over, okay.
Yeah, and I would walk in the backyard, especially in the summer, especially in a sunny day, and I would look at big objects and see if I can see them. Okay. The other thing is, I would do the same.
Vision? With peripheral vision, you mean?
No, you patch the peripheral vision, and you look with the blind area, basically.
Okay. Okay.
And again, let me just repeat what I said before.
Yeah, please.
You know, your macular cells died, but I'm willing to bet some of them are asleep. So you want to wake them up. And for the sake, which eye of yours is working? The left one?
The left one is still working, yes. It's degenerating.
For the sake of saving your left eye, you must work with the right eye. Balance is the secret of health. And the problem is that the left eye assumes the work for both. So
Yes.
it collapses. The more you work the right eye, the more you work the blind area of the right eye, the more you see with both. And I just want to say another option is, again, to patch the left eye, put paper in the right eye. This is something that Jeanne is so good when she interns with me, and she also sees people for private sessions. She's good in finding everything that sees. You basically cover it and you start to have light in the dark. Now, in the dark, you see that light really good. And we have other kinds of lights that you can use. We can always send to you the lamp. But you really need to see me individually. We really need to work on that.
I have a question though. My question, thank you for this though. My question is, I had wet macula in that right eye, and Stanford, I moved away from the Bay Area now, but Stanford did several shots in my eye for wet macula. That eye has deteriorated faster. The left eye, the doctor now says that there is a little bit of a plasma, or we don't know what it is. We're going to make a test later today to put a dye in me to see if there is bleeding, what they call bleeding, but oozing from the vein, if dry eye is becoming wet. And their option is to shoot that chemical in my eye to stop that oozing. My question is, what do you think about these shots? I don't trust them, I don't like them, but then it goes from dry to wet, and then it's even worse.
Let's put it this way. I hate those shots, but sometimes they're necessary. The thing for you to do is to do what we did today, you know, with great enthusiasm. Loosen up your neck and get to the place where you have better blood flow. Because why do we have wet macular degeneration? Because we don't use the macula well. We don't look at details. fact, if you look at my face, a way to see it well is to look from area to area to area and not to look at everything at once. When I look at this room, I look from area to area to area. When I look at leaves outside, I look from area to area, because the macula is 1.5% of all the photoreceptors in the retina. So you need to learn to look at details. And again, work on the right eye. So what I want to say is this.
Yes.
What I want to say is this. The macula is 1.5% of the total visual. You know, we have 10 layers in the retina. The most important layer, of course, is the photoreceptors. And the macula, made mainly out of cone cells, is only 1.5% of the total visual field. That's why we have to always look at small details. On the one hand, I talked today about the periphery, which is a wonderful thing. But that is so it will be easy for us to look at small details. Now, one thing that kills the macula is lack of interest. When people stop being curious, when all you want.
Not my problem. Not my problem. I'm a budding musician. I study music. I dance.
You gotta be kidding me.
What?
Yeah, but at the same time, you live in a city, right?
I live in a suburb with a garden
And when you go to a supermarket,
I don't go to supermarket.
Ah, okay.
I don't go there. I garden.
Anyway, I'm not with you. I will find, if I go with you and learn how you see, I'll be very surprised if I didn't find where you weren't interested in where you look. But if you're interested to look at things, that's great. That's probably.
I garden. I have a garden that I grow. I can look at flowers and butterflies and.
That is beautiful.
I do that.
But most people don't look at details.
Okay.
And when you read, do you read whole page? Do you read a letter?
No, I read very little because.
I'm talking about 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
You know, I worked with your assistant when I was in San Francisco, and he had me walking by the beach looking at flowers and counting petals.
Oh, nice.
Remember that Englishman that was working with you? I don't know if he's still there.
Will Fuller.
Yeah, Will Fuller, yes. Yeah. So I worked with him for months, but then.
Okay, so let me then talk about the important thing. You need more blood. I mean, two reasons for bleeding of the macula. One is not looking at details.
Okay.
But the other one is, and there could be many reasons to not look at details. Could be physical, could be emotional. The other problem is not enough blood to the retina.
Yes.
And so that's why I worked on the neck today. That's why it's so important. So the reason why it bleeds, not enough blood comes, so the body produces capillaries and they leak, or they produces membranes that don't let the fluid drains. So anything that can get the blood to flow better, especially good body work like we do, can make a difference. And yes, hopefully the shots will stop. I had a good luck with quite a few people with macular degeneration. The best one I had was a pharmacist that had laser treatment in the old days, in the 80s, where they laser some of the macula, hoping that the bleeding is not going to spread to the rest. He saw 8 images of everything. He could not see more than 5%, and glasses would not correct him. And I got him to look at the distance because he was a pharmacist and he looked always from near. And he spent 2 hours a day looking at the distance, and I was able to straighten his back because he was hunched back. So by straightening his back, I brought more blood to his head. And guess what? He ended up seeing 40% without glasses, and he saw 95% with them. So that was, he was such a successful case. I took him to different radio shows in the 80s. That was great. So what I want to tell you is it's so important to get more blood to the head and to look at details. And I would love to work with you again on that very concept, even though I think that you adopted it. But let's see if I can help you in any way move forwards. And by the way, you can keep working with Will online these days.
Hey, Meir. How are
Hi.
you?
Wonderful.
Thank you for everything that you do. So I've read your book and I think it's really good. And I live in the beautiful around Asheville. So I have mountains to look out and I love that. So I do try to practice looking in the distance more. So my question has to do with, I've started doing this. I used to wear contacts. I have not been wearing the contacts, but my vision isn't perfect or anything, but I was amazed at how much I could see without them. But the vision varies. So sometimes, when I'm walking or whatever, everything is crystal clear, but then it fluctuates and then it goes back to being not so clear. And I guess I'm just trying to figure out is, how long does it take where it just stays clear and it doesn't fluctuate? And also by the end of the day, with me not really wearing the contacts or the glasses, my eyes just feel really tired.
Okay,
And
don't let them ever get tired. What my suggestion is, go to an open-minded optometrist if you have one in your area. We know of a couple in San Francisco, in fact, of 3 in the Bay Area, and get glasses with which you would see 80% of 20/20. Okay. Also,
Okay.
if you get pinhole glasses, and they could be very helpful to you. I'm looking for the pinholes here. Let's see if I can find them. So you can use pinhole glasses from time to time, but don't ever let yourself get fatigued. You should palm frequently, never less than half an hour a day. Anytime you're about to get fatigued, before you get fatigued, palm.
Mm-hmm.
And also sun. Never strain. Straining doesn't help anything. So pinholes are fantastic glasses. You would be able to see things without even regular corrections. And if you have corrections, to just show it to you, this is considered to be 20/20.
Okay.
And then if you will get 20/40 glasses, you won't see it. You'll see a couple lines above. The DMV allows you in California to drive with 20/50. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
You can in the daytime. There was one lady who told me that she kept one pair of glasses near her computer, one in her dashboard. 3 years later, she did not need the one in her dashboard, and 5 years later, she did not need the one in her computer. And she reduced her prescription from 18 to 2. Okay, so you're not allowed to get tired. No way, no way. And the reason why you get tired is that you try to see 20/20 without glasses. Just like if somebody comes to me with braces and with crutches, I will tell them to get off the brace for a short moment and walk with their crutches. And then I would tell them to walk with the crouches. But then I would tell them walk with nothing at home and walk with help outside. I would never push anyone to get rid of everything at once. With time and with water exercise, they may be able to run without crutches. But at first, you have to go your pace, not what you want to be your pace, but your real pace.
Well, the problem I think around here, because I've kind of asked some of the people and they're just looking at you like you are really strange. They're not willing to give you glasses that are a little bit reduced from what, you know what I'm saying? I can't, I don't know.
You can look at a website. I should have looked at it. You should look at a website of behavioral optometrists and see if there's a behavioral optometrist in your area. I'm willing to bet there is. Oregon has many alternative works. So don't necessarily enroll in their program. Just come to ask for reduced prescription. But until then, get the pinholes, and they could be, yeah. And just again, remember, never strain. It's in my book, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, promise me to not strain ever again.
I'll try.
That's not a promise.
I promise.
Now we're talking. All right.
Hi there. Yes, I've been studying you through a lady named Laura in Eugene for a long time myself.
Wow. How old is she now?
She's 94, I think. And
Isn't that something?
I think she's on this call too. So I have a question about my mother, who's also 94 and has macular degeneration and has been getting the shots for years, but she still drives and she comes to my farm every day and she does a lot of visual work on the farm. But she's very interested in this session. And are you making the recording available to those of us?
Yes, we are making the recording with all the disturbances available.
Because I'd like to go over it with her. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hi, I recently, well, it's about a couple of years ago, I had all of a sudden have some floaters going on in my eye. And about a couple of months ago, there's more came out. How do I prevent from more floaters coming to my eyes? And also, second question is, for some odd reason, recently, I work from home, and recently, like the last 2 days, I feel like everything is dimmer. Like the lights didn't change, but my eyes receiving these lights seem like the room is darker a little bit. I don't know what is happening.
So first of all, what I really recommend that you do is do some eye exercises. But second of all, it's good for you to see an optometrist or ophthalmologist to see if anything happened in your eye. In terms of the floaters, there are three kinds of floaters. The floaters that all of us have until the vitreous, which is between the lens and the cornea, becomes more watery. So we see those particles that were separate a lot, they start to get together. The other reason is some detachment of the vitreous body, then we see those. We see the blood that came from the detachment. And the other reason is retinal detachment. So you probably don't have retinal detachment, because if somebody gives me a call and said, well, yesterday I did not have any floaters, today there are 500 of them, I say, go and see a retinal specialist immediately. But the way you can overcome them is by looking at one of them at a time. It will disappear, and then you look at it again. So the idea is you walk, you look at one, it goes away, you look at it back. And there's different ways of doing it. And you definitely can get rid of those floaters. The one thing you should never do is what they do in medicine, laser treatment, where they shoot laser to destroy them. Don't do that, because it can immediately cause severe glaucoma. Okay, I want to finish with palming. So all of you, rub your hands. In fact,
but how do I get rid of them again?
It's in my book, Vision for Life. You look at one of them, not at many of them, at one of them.
Oh, so not physically get rid of them, but just like not seeing them.
No, okay, it's good to ask the question. When you look at them, you're actually physically working on it, because the vitreous fluid collides against that floater.
Oh.
And I started to understand that. I have a nice MP3, I have it on cassette, and I have it on CD. And this is breath and movement of your joints. I've learned in so many cases that to get rid of anti-inflammatory for the joints, you breathe through them one by one, and you visualize that they expand and shrink. And when you do it, you drain all the fluids from them, which is interesting. Returning to the eye. When you focus on a floater, the fluid flows at that floater. You'll see the floater disappears. But a second after that, it comes back. And you see them better in strong light than in weak light. So you go outside. If you have, let's say, more floaters in one eye, you cover the other eye. You look at a floater, look at it, it goes away. You walk forwards, you look at it again, it goes away. And you do it for about a couple of weeks, and that floater then disappears. It breaks to minuscule floaters. Then you choose a second floater, and a third floater, and a fourth floater, until all your floaters go away, basically.
Oh, thank you. So
Instead
what would
of taking them, you ambush them.
so what would cause me to
So I would say this. It's hard for me to know because I don't know your condition. Okay.
I don't have anything that I mean I'm I don't have any
Well, check that you don't. Check that you don't have cataract. Check that nothing is wrong. And then if nothing is wrong, then it causes this is eye strain, basically. That's why resting the eyes is so important. Okay.
Oh, thank
so
you.
Let's all of us go and wash our hands for 1 minute. We'll come back to do the palming exercise. Okay, and I'm turning off the lights in my room. And actually, this room we can even make dark. So make your room as dark as you can make it. Interlace your fingers and move your arms in rotating motion. John, can you take the camera and point at me? Move your arms.
Then you can go back.
Okay, go back?
Yeah.
Okay. So move your arms in rotating motion. Do they see me?
Yeah, yeah, completely.
In both directions, one way, all the way up and to the side, and then the other way. You stretch the hands like this, and you move the arms in rotating motion in both directions. Now rub your hands. Rub your hands. And you can even darken the room a bit if you want to. And I have a palming stick. I love my palming stick because I can adjust it to what I need. In fact, I need right now in this chair to go a little bit lower. So it does do that. And I really think it's worth working with palming stick, but you can put pillows on a table. Put your hands very gently around the eye orbits. I couldn't emphasize enough how gentle it has to be. The minimum amount of palming that we do is 6 minutes. Hey Siri, tell me when 6 minutes are over.
6 minutes, counting down.
So we put the hands around the eye orbits. We breathe deeply and we breathe slowly. And don't look at the screen, don't face the screen, face away from the screen. And visualize that you're seeing darkness and maybe even blackness. And breathe slowly and breathe deeply. And breathe deeply and breathe slowly. You can feel that your abdomen and lower back expand when you breathe in and shrink when you breathe out. You can feel that your ribs and chest and upper back expand when you breathe in and shrink when you breathe out. Sometimes it becomes a timeless experience, like you feel that no time passes. You also feel like the whole world does what it does, and I sit here and palm, watching my breath, feeling my breath, feeling my body, feeling my eyes, and relaxing. And I had huge experiences with palming. Once I fasted and I was able to have even regression to my infancy. So you breathe deeply in and breathe out. This is a time that you feel neutral. It's a time that you don't feel that you have to think about anything. You leave your worries behind. You even don't know what time it is. You just relax. And you visualize it, you see darkness, maybe even blackness. And you feel that your eyes are soft. And remember, never put pressure on your cheekbones. So you visualize your whole upper body expands and shrinks. And that you can even feel. But now you can visualize that your head expands and shrinks. And even though anatomy teaches us that that's impossible, visualize that your legs expand and shrink. Your arms expand and shrink. Your whole body expands and shrinks. You visualize the whole room is dark. All sense of light disappears. And even that your neighborhood is dark or black. You try to remember how dark it is at night, at a rainy night. And just visualize dark, dark, dark. Remember, the inhalation is slow, but the exhalation is even slower. Again, never put pressure on your cheekbones. It's our tendency. So make sure that you're comfortable. You can even move a little bit without taking your hands off to be sure you're comfortable in your seat. Visualize your eyes as soft. It is one of those times when you don't think, when you don't remember, when you just relax. So we just did 6 minutes of palming. And we can turn all the lights on right now.
That was good.
That was nice, huh?
Yeah.
6 minutes of palming. And I would like to thank you so much for coming. Remember, Labor Day weekend is going to be 3 days of working on our nervous system, circulation, blood flow, everything we need for every part of us. Sensory integration, as we did today a bit with the hearing, and of course, on our vision. We are by Ocean Beach, and we use the beach a lot. We have wonderful facilities and a wonderful space. By the way, in a unique way, this board of supervisors of San Francisco allowed us to be in a residential area. and 59 neighbors opposed it. Now they all like us, so that part is very good. But we had a real political issues there. It was a 5-year process, but it's not a huge space, but we got it. It's only 3,000 square feet, but we got it. It was a big, glorious moment to be able to have that win, and glorious years by making sure that all our neighbors like us anyway. And there's no reason why not. We're quiet, we're nice. And so what I would like to ask you, if anyone can make it, we definitely still have room in our workshop, and we'd like to see you. People fly from anywhere and everywhere to our place. Okay, thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone. And I'm happy we had so many people. Have a great,
Thank
great
you,
time.
Meir.
Thanks.